Okay, hello everybody, Queen here, back with another YouTube video. Today is going to be a brief one, and I know I don't make a lot of YouTube videos anymore, but I'm also on hiatus with that. Stay tuned with my Twitch. I'm just going to do a brief thing about that. So the reason why I'm not making videos or streaming right now is because my PC fans, they don't sound bad right now, but as soon as I went on Roblox or something, they sound horrible. So that's the reason why I'm on hiatus and why I haven't been streaming or making videos. But I needed to briefly get that out of the way. I'm hoping I can get them replaced soon. But until then, there's going to be no new content. So my apologies, but if you do want some great content, I recommend you go check out Faceless. He is my brother. He makes great content. So go check out him in the meantime, since I'm going to be on hiatus for a little while until I get my PC fans replaced. But anywho, that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. Today I wanted to talk about Stillwood Execution. If you guys don't know what this game is, it's a game on VR chat that was in beta. Today, I woke up from like a little sleep around maybe like 10-ish, 10, 11-ish I was up. I went to go play Stillwood, and then there was a message saying that the game was closed. That really sucks. And another thing real quick is that I'm doing this with no script, so I'm just saying how I feel right now. So, before I start talking about how I feel about the whole situation and why I think, in my opinion, the game should still be up and why I think it should still run, even though what they could have done was other things. But I will explain that once I'm done the video, because I want to show you guys the gameplay. We're not going to be watching all of this. I'm only going to show you this one mode right here, because I don't want the video to be too long, but I can quickly tell you what some of the modes are. We're going to be watching Repair the Bikes right here. There's Repair the Cars. There's Gourd's Nest. There's Survive Until Dawn. And then there's Bunkers. But we're only going to be seeing the bikes, since, you know, I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. I just want to show you how the game was, and then explain my reasoning, and how I feel about the whole situation, and how I feel like that the game should still be up, but just don't receive updates. But we're going to be talking about that after. So, let's watch this together to see how great and how fun this game was before it got shut down. So in this game mode, we got Repair the Bikes. This is Stillwood. So we're in the train. So there's like 5 to 6 different, like 7 different landmarks that you can go to in this game. Five different landmarks that you can go to. There's the killer. One thing that I should definitely mention, well, I'll mention when the video's rolling, that the killer is blind. The killer is blind. They're going against a blind killer that has an active ability to see for a short amount of time. This is going to be very short, so for the rest of the video, you're literally just going to be seeing this. And I'm going to explain how I feel about the situation and what I think should have happened with the game. So he has bypass, so he's escaping unfortunately. There you go. Nice bike escape there. Okay. We'll keep it here. Okay, we'll just pause it here, because now, the rest of the video, you're just going to be seeing this stale image, because now I'm going to explain how I feel about the situation. Alright, so, how I feel about the situation. Okay, so practically, if you don't know, the message, I'm going to explain it simply. This message, as simple as possible, because obviously I don't remember all of it. So they said, they closed down Stillwood because the game got too popular. Too much people were playing the game for beta, and they wanted to take a break, which is understandable. And now they said, to get access to the game in the future, and not forever, but if you want early access, you have to pay with their Patreon. Which, in my opinion, I am very iffy on Patreon, because it's a game. Okay, look, I get it. Some people need to make money to make the game work, right? Some games need to be at a high price tag. I'm just gonna throw one randomly out there. Sonic Crossworlds, for example. That game's like $90. $90, $80. Wherever you're from. $90, $80, around there. Because they put a lot of time and dedication into that. But, in my opinion, when it comes to Stillwood, it's a VR chat game. Most VR chat games, I don't know, because I'm not a developer, so don't 100% think that I might be right for this, so take this with a grain of salt. But I think that most VR chat games are made because of passion and dedication. So they don't need money to make it. For example, a great game that is only made by dedication and by the heart of fans is Outcome Memories. If you play Outcome Memories on Roblox, you know that that is a fan game that requires no money at all, and it was dedicated. It looks beautiful, great gameplay, everything like that. But we're gonna try to stay on topic. So, how do I feel about this situation? I think that I really don't like the Patreon idea, because it practically just puts Stillwood behind a paywall. And it's sad. If you want to host your own Stillwood instance, you would have to pay $7 a month. It's confusing, because for me, it says $7, but it also says $17. So, $7 or $17, whatever the price, you still have to pay money for that shit. And not all people, but some people that are on VR chat don't have a lot of money. So if they're a fan of Stillwood, they literally can't play it, because they're not going to pay for the Patreon. So, how I feel about the situation is that, look, what I think they should have done was not close the game, but don't update it. Just don't update it. If you need to take a break, just don't update the game. Why take the game away from us when you can just not update it? Just say, hey, I'm going on a hiatus. The game will not be getting updates anymore. That simple. But no. They decided to take the game away from us, and now I am here making a whole ass video on how I feel about the situation. It's upsetting, to say the least, knowing that I already been through some stuff today. If you guys also don't know, we got the death of Harura, the horse from Una Musume. She passed away today. The real life one passed away today, and she only died when she was 29, which is very sad. but we're gonna try to stay on topic. So, how I think that this should have happened, and I know that obviously I'm not the developer, they can do what they want, it's their game, but I can still state my opinion on the matter. The game should have still been up. I don't know why he closed the game, because too much people were playing it. That's what you want with a game. You want people to play your game. And the game was not that repetitive. He also stated that there's going to be new things and stuff, which is great. But the game was fine as it is. Yeah, it had some bugs. But who cares about the bugs? Yeah, I know, you can die in the car. You can die on the bike. You can get killed when escaping, which was a problem. But something that they didn't really have to fix, because it was fine. But now that the game is shut it down, it gives people like myself and other people that generally enjoyed Stillwood no access to play Stillwood without paying for that fucking Patreon. Which, I'm sorry, but that's horrible. I mean, I am not the biggest fan of Patreons, okay? Look, I get it. Some games need to make money to update them and shit. But in my opinion, Stillwood felt like a passion project more than a game that needed the money to make the game better. Look, I'm also running this with no scripts because it's literally late at night. It's 12:46 in the morning. I'm not making the script, okay? I am saying this completely completely on top of my head, because I just want to get this video out there, so then people that are a fan of Stillwood Execution can understand how I feel about the situation, and how I think that shutting the game down was a bad idea. Look, they could have easily just went on hiatus. That would have been great. They could have just went on hiatus and specifically said, hey, we're gonna go on hiatus. The game will not be receiving any more updates, but you can still play the game. Look, that would have been great. If they just did that, happiness towards everyone. Everyone could still play Stillwood, and the game just won't be getting updated, which I would be completely fine with. But no. They shut down the game because too much people were playing it, which I find crazy, because isn't the whole point of a video game is that you want people to play it? You want people to play the game. So what I don't understand is that why would they close it if they want people to play the game? Luckily they appreciate that. And yeah, I really appreciated this game. I was dedicated to it. Losing this game was like the whole situation of me losing TD again. Back then, when Sonic.exe, the disaster, the original game, got taken down. And now I'm feeling the exact same way again, but with Stillwood. They said that the game's gonna come back, but now we're gonna be having to probably wait months or even fucking years before this game comes back out to a free-to-play audience. So then everyone can play it for free without paying $7 or $17, whatever the fuck, for a Patreon. Look, I'm really trying to be positive about this situation, but there's no positivity with this. Look, if you're watching this, please, please, please do not go harass the creators of this game. Please. That would just make you seem like a big dick. Do not do that. I'm just stating my opinion and how I feel on the matter. So please do not go harass the creators. Look, it's their game. They can do what they want. I'm just stating my opinion and how I feel about the situation. Do not go harass people about this. I am just glad that I was able to get this off my chest because, oh my god, it's upsetting. The thing that I am upset the most about the whole situation is the Patreon. That is really ticking me off. To get access to a game on VR chat, you need to pay a Patreon. Look, I get it. Some games, Trash Compactor is actually a grand example. Trash Compactor is a grand example, actually. Let's do Trash Compactor. Trash Compactor. There's some game modes locked behind a paywall, which is understandable if the creator needs to make money. That's okay. But, you can still have fun with the game without those game modes. You can still play the regular game. There's still some other modes that you can play. There's just some certain game modes, for example, like pinball, that you can't play because you need someone to be subscribed to the Patreon, which is understandable. But locking the entire game behind a paywall, a VR chat game, that is where I draw the line. That is too far. If you want your game to be popular, you need to let people have access to it without forcing them to cough off money. And I know, people could easily just, let one person that has the Patreon open up an instance, and then people that don't have the Patreon can join. Yeah, they can do that. But what happens if no one's hosting this game, and you really want to play this game? You either or have to be patient and wait for someone that has the Patreon to open up an instance, or you're going to have to pull out the credit card and pay for the Patreon, which I find ridiculous. But at the end of the day, I am not going to spend any more time ranting about this, because if I do, I'm going to be ranting here for an hour. And, frankly, I don't want to do that. I don't want to rant here for an hour. So, that is how I feel about the whole Stillwood situation. Yet again, do not go harass the creators of the game, because I met the main developer of the game, and I met the creator of the game, and he is a very sweet and kind person, and I was grateful for him making this game. And I even gave them recommendations, which, don't get me wrong, some of my recommendations were definitely not going to be in the game, but I was at least curious upon asking for my recommendations, like making the adrenaline be faster, but nerfing the duration. But, yeah, that's obviously not going to be in the game, because he stated that he wanted the game. The killer's already blind, so he wanted it so then the adrenaline could not outrun the killer, which is understandable. But anywho, that is how I feel about the whole Stillwood situation. I think, personally, the game should not be locked behind a paywall, and I think what they should do is do what Trash Compactors does. They released brand new game modes that are only exclusive to the Patreon members. So, for example, I don't know. Let me just think about a random game mode at top of my head. What game mode could they add to the game? That would be interesting. I don't know. They could add like a boss battle mode, for example, where, I don't know, and it would be behind a paywall, but I'm just making up an example, where the blind killer has a lot of health, and it's a survivor's goal to beat him up. It could be like Gord's Nest, but you don't destroy the nest, you only focus on fighting the killer, and the killer can fight back. That would be kind of cool. And then you can lock that game mode, the new game modes, behind the Patreon. That would be fine. But locking the entire game behind a paywall? That's ridiculous. But anywho, I'm gonna stop rambling because I already know. Yeah, I already said it before. If I don't stop, I'm gonna be here for an hour rambling about this whole situation. So I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. For the last time, do not go harass the creators of the game. Do not go harass the developers of the game, the voice actors of the game. Don't do any of that. Alright, this is strictly my opinion and how I feel about the situation and how I feel that Stillwood should have just stayed open and just went on hiatus. So the developers could take a break, but the game could still be opened, so then people can still enjoy the game and play it. But that is how I feel on the matter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and bye for now.